David Tafuri is an attorney and a former State Department official who spent a lot of time in the region. He joins us tonight. So, David, I know that you're a big believer in multinational organizations, particularly in NATO. You've defended it on this program, in fact. Now, Turkey is one of our NATO allies, our sacred NATO allies, whose defense we are now obligated to provide if necessary. But you're telling us that we need to take the side of Turkey's enemy. How does that work?
Well, just because Turkey is a member of NATO doesn't mean it's always doing the things that we want, the U.S. wants, or that NATO wants. In this case, it's doing exactly the opposite of what NATO wants. In fact, it's been doing that for a long time. Now, if you watch what's happening with Turkey, for instance, it's now accepting S-300 rockets from Russia. This is something the U.S. did not want, and also NATO did not want, and it compromises NATO's
Wait
security.
a second. So you're saying that our job is to arm with weapons of war, as the Democrats describe them, the opponent, the mortal opponent of our NATO ally. And yet, if Turkey's attacked, we are obligated under the treaty to defend Turkey.
But Turkey is not being attacked. And the ally you're talking about
being attacked.
They're not being attacked.
Turkey is absolutely in a state of conflict with the Kurds.
Not with the SDF. The SDF is a force of moderate Kurds and moderate Arabs in Syria, formed in part with the help of the U.S., that U.S. Special Forces are fighting alongside with against ISIS. We would not have defeated ISIS in Syria without the help of the SDF.
Maybe
and any U.S. soldier who has served in Syria will tell you that. That's why the Department of Defense...
Hold on. But I'm asking you a broader question about Turkey. I mean, I think a lot of what you're saying is open to debate, and for sure. But what's not open to debate is that our NATO ally, Turkey, and we're supposed to revere our NATO allies from Estonia on down, very much including Turkey, thinks that the Kurds that we're arming are its opponent. So, like, how does this NATO thing work? Because remember, Trump is evil because he questioned NATO. But now you're undermining the very rationale for NATO.
False logic here. Just because they're part of an alliance we are a part of, that's an important alliance, doesn't mean we agree with everything they do. They do lots of things that we don't agree with.
If the Kurds attack Istanbul, we have to defend Istanbul against the Kurds, correct?
If the Kurds are not going to attack Istanbul,
what do you mean?
It's never going to happen.
There have been all kinds of terror attacks.
Let's talk in the area of reality.
Hold on, there have been a lot of terror attacks within Turkey committed by Kurds, including some of the Kurds that we have armed. So why aren't we bound to take Turkey's side in that? I'm honestly confused.
Well, when Kurds engage in terrorism, we do take their side. So in this instances where the PKK, where it's demonstrated that the PKK, which is a Kurdish separatist group in eastern Turkey, has engaged in terrorism, we have sided with Turkey. In fact, we've labeled the PKK a terrorist organization. But the SDF is not a terrorist organization. They're fighting right alongside our special forces, and any special forces, U.S. Special Forces soldier who's been in the trenches with them will tell you that. And you need to talk to them. And this is why
they don't get to make. They actually don't get to make. I'm sorry. They don't get to make our policy. We have civilian control of the military, thank God. And I know that Democrats would be happy to undo that for the time being, but it'd be wrong. The president gets to set our foreign policy. He's got the support of the public behind this. And why not acknowledge that most Americans don't see any vital interest in Syria because there isn't one?
Well, here's the point. The president made this sudden decision yesterday, right after a call with President Erdogan. He made no attempt to hide.
He's been talking about this for 3 years.
He made no attempt.
And the neocon wackos like you have successfully...
He made no attempt to hide the fact that he was directly influenced by Erdogan. Right after the call,
by our NATO
ally, against the advice of every single senior U.S. military official. And
the ones who've kept us.
Fox News has been reporting all day.
Kept us in Afghanistan.
How shocked our DOD officials are by the decision.
They're really shocked. Okay.
So who do you trust, Erdogan or
I'll tell you who I don't trust. The people who've kept us in Afghanistan for 18 years. They should be ashamed. Some should be in jail. I mean that. David, great to see you.
Thanks.